Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
I'm convinced, sister, that coincidences do not exist. That the things that you see that are lining up in your life have a bigger purpose, a bigger meaning. There's a greater force that's at work that you can believe or not believe is happening, but it exists. And I know that we like to, with their educated brains or educated minds, say, oh, it's just a coincidence. That's weird. I was just thinking about you and then you called. I was writing a post tonight that I put up on my personal Facebook page about how I want to go to church. And it's been a lot of my movement towards spirituality and God, and a lot of study that I'm doing right now, and a lot of listening inside of me. And it was so interesting that after I posted that, I opened up my email, and there's an email from Pastor Mike, which is actually a church I've been looking into that's a local church. And they ran a family festival across the street from my house in a local park our kids went to. It was really lovely. And I was like, maybe this would be a good place to start, and had some questions. And there you go. Then they emailed me right back. Now, you might go, oh, like, Karen, that's just a coincidence, right? Listen, sister, I can, in my 49 years on the planet, I can go through stories and stories and stories of numerous, quote-unquote, coincidences that have happened in my life that I know were not coincidences at all. There really is a divine intervention that's happening. And I know that's, if you are the kind of woman likes to get shit done, you're like, listen, I have these outcomes, these goals I want, and I'm driven, I'm going to make shit happen. And yes, sister, fucking do it. But the thing is, what I'm coming to understand more and more is that you can have very clear outcomes, very clear goals, very clear, I will get shit done. But honestly, there's so much that happens that we do not have control over. And I know that might freak you out. I know you might not want to hear that. And if I was heard someone say this to me a year ago, I'd be like, screw that. I get stuff done. This is who I am. Don't tell me there'll be something in the way. There's no excuses. There's no, no, I will make it happen. And as much as I still fully believe that, you need to have goals and outcomes, results that you want within your life. You need to put action behind that. You need to have a plan. There has to be a way for you to measure your progress along the way. But there is a lot going on that you have zero control over, that I have zero control over, that everyone has zero control over. And for those of us that like to have control, that's a little scary. This is what the true meaning of trusting and surrender fully means. What some of you might remember, if you've read a book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, which is Toltec wisdom, or just the saying which you've heard, which is to unattach to the outcome, to let go of expectations. To unattach, right? To be like, okay, this is what I want. I'm going to really focus on this, but then I got to let it go. Because otherwise, it becomes you had kids at school, maybe when you were, younger, high school or something, but someone who was really, 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 really trying hard to be your friend. And because they pushed so hard, they actually end up pushing you away. You're just you're trying too hard. You want to be my friend? Cool. But there's a desperation there's an attachment to that. See, when you attach to an outcome, a goal, a result, and you hold on to it there's meaning in it, there's a value in it. If it doesn't happen, that it'll mean this. And it's not going to mean a good this. Actually, if we flip it as well too, sister, it can also mean like, when I get to this, then everything will be great and I will be successful. I will be happy. Everything will be amazing. And then you get there and you feel that for a little bit and you're like, oh, okay. Well, on to the next thing. The next thing will do it for me. And then the next thing and the next thing. And the more that you live your life this way, the more that you start to notice that putting your, how can I word this so it's clear, not a jumble? Putting your fulfillment, putting your joy, putting your, whatever that thing is that you're trying to accomplish into an event, into a project, into a relationship even, into the things will be better when I get to this. Well, once the kids can be at home by themselves, as soon as my baby's sleeping through the night, when my husband and I can go on date nights again, when I can get back to the gym, when my kids grow up, like, we are not only placing the value of what we think that we want to have or need to have or what will make us whole in some outside event outside of us, but in addition, we're putting ourselves in the future and saying that present where I am is not cool. The past sucked. And I don't even want to be present, but I'm going to focus on the future. Attachment to expectations, attachment to outcomes. They don't work all that well, sister. I've played that game. It is a losing fucking game. It really is. Now listen, it doesn't mean don't have goals, don't have outcomes. Like, go after shit you want. But also understand that you gotta let go of it. You gotta be focused on and let go. It seems like a paradox, right? Like, what do you mean? Like, am I like, I'm gonna make this happen whatever it takes? Or am I just gonna be like, well, it's not really up to me? It's kind of a combination of both. It's like, this is what I want. This is what needs to happen. Here's the way I'm going to know when I get there. It's really specific. It's measurable. You have a timeline to when you want to get that done. And then it's like you let it go. It's like holding on to a helium balloon. And that helium balloon represents the thing that you want, the outcome that you desire, the goal you're striving for. And then it's like your hand wrapped around the string of that helium balloon, like you just now let that go. Because see, you've put everything in place. Now you got to let go. You need to trust it. You need to surrender. The things are going to happen as they need to happen. It's been very difficult for me with this podcast, with this Movement with Women Wanting More, to surrender to what needs to happen. Because I've been so focused on pushing an outcome. And I look at people around me that have started up podcasts as I did 3 years ago, or are doing coaching similar to mine. And I see them, ahead, whatever that means, of where I think that I could be, but I'm not. And it's been very difficult to be like, well, wait a second, I just haven't figured it out. I haven't cracked the code yet. So I've hired coaches and all things that have been helpful, all things that have got me to that next place. But yet what I came to realize when things came crashing down around me 3 months ago, business and personal, was like, this shit is not working. It isn't about me pushing. It's not about the next funnel. It isn't about trying to understand and tell my story better to you so that you hear, sister. It isn't about any of those things. It's that I am being directed to do something else right now. And it's not what the plan was. And it's not a coincidence all this stuff started happening. It's not a coincidence I bought a Jim Carrey print with my husband back when we were in Maui in January with our family at the beginning of the year. And bought a print called Electric Jesus. Like, what? Non-religious, non-God at the time girl, like, drawn to this. It's not an accident that I felt like something really awakened inside me in my late 20s, early 30s when those Conversations with God books came out. And then I just put it down and I put that whole thing on the shelf. It's not a coincidence that when I had this injury back in May, which on my birthday sitting in the hospital, and then tell me that it's, you have a blood clot. We're going to put you on thinners. And by the way, you could still die from this. You could still, your heart could stop beating and clot could go to lungs and, but these drugs will just kind of minimize the risk. It's kind of the best we can do. It was no accident for all these things to happen. Everything needed to happen as it happened. And that trust and surrender, again, it is hard when you're the get shit done kind of girl. Like me. I feel you, sister. I see you. I see you. But there's a greater plan that's going on, and it's not about a coincidence. It's not. And the more we resist against the messages that we are receiving, the more that we turn away from the messages that are right in front of us, the more that we try to shut down and numb inside the feeling, the whisperings, the knowing inside of your soul and inside your heart, the further you get away from who you truly are. Who you truly are, sister. So there's no such thing as a coincidence. But there are certainly messages along the way that help us understand the path that we are to be on. And that's it. And that's it. So here's your more tip for today, sister. I want you to open up your journal and simply write a page or more, if it so pleases you, of what came up for you from hearing this podcast. What came up for you from hearing this message? What is true for you from hearing this message? What do you hear for you in all of this? And journal this, because there's something. Just like right now, I'm being guided to relate this message to you and to have this as a more tip. It's a weird more tip, right? You've listened to the podcast for a while, and I just let things come through me. I don't try to manipulate or force it, or it's just kind of like, well, here's what it's supposed to be. It sounds kind of vaguish because I think this is something that's a big, wide open conversation. You're going to hear what you need to hear for you. So what is that for you, sister? And journal that. Journal that. So, sister, finishing up, make sure to subscribe to the Woman Wanting More newsletter so that you get all 5 podcasts sent to your inbox 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, as well as upcoming information about my book coming out in fall of 2018 and some other cool things that I have coming in the pipe with Women Wanting More with this new shift in the movement. So head over right now to drkarenosborne.com/action guide. Enter in your email and your name, and we'll get you hooked up on that today. So I'll talk to you in the next episode, sister. A life of more is one step away of you knowing that there's a greater order that's happening to you and for you. If only you allow yourself to trust and surrender every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.